finish with a bit of a goth monster
My
track.
name is Martin.
With
I'm 84
Martin
years
from
old.
Soft Serve.
People think I'm crazy when I tell them how old I am.
I'll submit this to the next
I'd like to be normal.
Goth City
A sickness. The only way I
compilation.
can survive is by drinking blood. Not easy living the way I do. I have to be careful all the time. I'm pretty good at it. I think as I get older, I get better. I haven't been caught yet.
Martin is a boy with problems. Martin has a family history. Martin has too many nightmares. He lives in a fantasy. There's a danger that he'll take too far his morbid curiosity. He's seen too many creepy films, he's read too many books. Martin sleeps with all the lights on, Martin's seen too many looks. He lives out a strange obsession, tries hard to resist. Martin needs a strange obsession to exist.
Those things I see in the movies are not real.
He's far too pale and far too frail to be a normal boy. There's something shining in his eyes, the things he'd like to say. Martin had a lot to live down, growing up in a mining town.
I have a whole lot of women. I watch them a lot all the time. I have to.
Torches burning in the trees, the shivering, lust for blood. He's the star of many horror movies, but deep inside he's good. There's an illness flowing through him that's there all the time. Though he watches and he waits, he knows he's not to blame. The face at the window, the hand under the bed. Martin has hallucinations, dreams that he's dead. Martin finds he hungers at its worst when he's in his bed.
Things that I don't necessarily like to do. I want to stay alive. I do need blood.
He's finding hard to keep control. He knows it won't be long. His tongue rolls over his dry lips, and the voice lingers on. Martin. Martin. Oh, Martin. 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 Oh, Martin. 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 Martin, 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 Martin. Oh, Martin, Martin, oh, Martin, Martin. Right, okay, right. I've been having a few little issues tonight, but hopefully all sorted now. So we're, well, sorted after a fashion. You know, you would expect that the webcam software that you use, like every time you do a live stream,
to work next time you use it. So anyway, that was me doing Martin, and thank you, Margaret the Dwig, for joining us so early in things. In around 10 minutes or so, we'll have a little chat with Adam from Rodney Cromwell and Happy Robots fame. And in the meantime, though, we'll get on and play a bit of someone I met in New York when I was playing there recently. Yes, I've played New York. Isn't that terribly exciting? I really want to adjust my webcam thing a little there, because I don't like it capturing that bit at the bottom there. I'll sort that in a moment. Anyway, in case you don't know, I am Derek Anthony Williams, sometimes known as the Futurist, and we'll have a bit of DarkMoonSpirit now, all the way from New York. So let's have a bit of this when I get ready. So here we are. Lovely person I met in New York. sure there's more. Looks like he's had a bit of an accident. Happens. Who of us hasn't got covered in blood at some point in performing? Anyway, that's over now. That DarkMoonSpirit with DarkMoonSpirit there. Jolly good too. Really liked that. It got a real classic goth rock sound, maybe death rock some would say, but it reminded me very much of the likes of Sex Gang Children and all that sort of back cave goth stuff. Am I planning to affiliate Alice and Marvel Land? We don't do affiliations. Near futurism is independent. I don't know. I don't really know what it is. It probably means adverts or something, so probably not. If I can afford to do it like this, I will do. Anyway, yes, yeah, that would, as I say, that really had that sort of authentic Batcave rawness to it. Really enjoyed that. Maybe I'll play New York with them in the future. Could be good. I believe Frank, if I remember correctly, is the person involved in that who saw me live in New York and was decidedly impressed. No, Near Futurists definitely don't go all the way to St. Louis to meet up with the girlfriend or anything like that, or do a special performance for her birthday. Right, anyway, so let's move on, shall we? We've got an interview with Adam of Rodney Cromwell coming up, so shall we have something that's meant to be played at Christmas, but you know, we're almost as far away from Christmas as we can get, so it's kind of fun to do something that's a little bit out of context. So this is Cold Christmas from Rodney Cromwell.
Now she is
Oh, and he's disappeared. I mean, you're supposed to stay on camera. You're allowed to speak now anyway, so hopefully
Hello, Derek.
it's working. Hello.
I saw the video come up. I thought people would rather see that than see me.
They won't see you. Look, I'm in control of these things. You know, I'm doing lots of jiggery-pokery behind the scenes that you don't get to see because I'm all special and clever.
I like it. My face looks kind of smooth and young looking. I must be on your TV show more often.
I mean, your face always looks smooth and young whenever I've seen it in London, definitely.
Thanks. As I moisturise. You know what? The orthodontist, the woman who cleaned my teeth the other day, said I didn't look my age.
The woman who created your teeth?
No, she cleaned my teeth.
Oh, I thought you said created.
To clean them for me. That's I've said to her, I've got British teeth. They're horrible. I try and just sing like that and don't show me bottom ones.
British teeth. I mean, you can always get American teeth quite easily just with a train ticket. I don't know if you're aware of that. We'll get onto music eventually, folks, but there's important stuff to clear up, like skin and teeth and that sort of thing. So yeah, you can get American teeth easily. Just that you've got like the black magnetic strip on the back of train tickets and stuff. Put that in your mouth, and you've got like 2 rows of really nice straight white teeth.
That's a great tip. Tip. I haven't used it. I've bought a train ticket for a long time because I live in London, obviously. And you just sleep with your phone now, like all the other twats.
Yes, and apparently you can actually do that in New York. I discovered after buying a ticket, and there was a lot of trouble with running the card through the card machine because it was always like, you're doing it too fast, you're doing it too slow. But anyway, everyone will be thoroughly thrilled with this important chat. They thought they were tuning into a music show, but apparently it's just general chat about transport and teeth.
I love this sort of chat. This is great. This is what people want to know about now.
It's like bants, mate. Bants.
Exactly, bants. It's all about the bants.
Yes. Anyway, so we welcome to Near Futurist TV Adam from Rodney Cromwell, or is he Rodney Cromwell? Who knows? I mean, is he Rodney Cromwell from Adam? So
it's true.
And also,
I try and sometimes I wonder if they are slightly different. The Rodney Cromwell on stage is more of a persona than Adam, who's backstage.
And Barry was an arms dealer.
Barry. I also have another pseudonym, Barry Lim.
Yeah.
Who takes my photos for me. It's basically what I do is I set the camera up and do, like that.
So, though Barry was an arms dealer, what is he now?
Oh, that's a very good question. Well, he wasn't real, you see. He was a figment of someone's imagination in the first place. He was
what is reality other than what we decide it is?
Wow, this is getting a bit serious now, isn't it, really, for a Saturday night?
I think we can hash this out right now here, and I think we can once and for all settle what is real. And I believe Skinny Puppy, not Leg Puppy, quite a different band. I believe they did use a sample that said now is the only thing that's real. So I just don't know what to think anymore, but I'm sure you can clear it all up for us. What is reality?
I think reality is having a good time all the time.
Are you having a good time right now?
I am actually. This is great.
Oh, that's all right then.
I
so
had a cup of coffee.
So this fiction. This is a song by Rodney Cromwell, folks. Barry was an arms dealer. So this character, is Barry, who was an arms dealer, who knows what he's doing now? Is he doing something else now? Is he expired? Is he the person who takes photographs? Barry was an arms dealer, but now is a photographer. Apparently, being a photographer perhaps was his vocation, but he made enough money from arms dealing to cover his costs doing that.
Yeah, it probably pays better, although weddings do pay very well, so maybe he should get into them instead of photographing me in car parks and stuff,
Right, anyway, we should get on to the main subject. I feel that you've been around enough time for me to not really need a huge intro for you, but you're an electro-based band. It often seems to have a bass guitar involved as well. Certainly did when I saw you in Birmingham, which was an absolutely superb show. I think that's been my favourite Rodney Cromwell show I've seen out of about 2. But
so many to choose from.
Yes.
What the other one was?
Yeah,
was quite rough and ready that time.
Yeah, I mean, with Mechanical Cabaret involved as well. There were less said about them, the better. But a largely electronic act, and you've been going a couple of years at least, and you going out on tour again. It's your final tour ever in the month of June in 2023.
Yeah,
it's
exactly
it's everyone's last chance to catch Rodney Cromwell live this year in June.
Yeah, I mean it's my debut headline tour, I guess. I've toured several times, but I've usually I did the Ohm from Ohm tour. I toured with Tiny Magnetic Pets. I toured with Alice Hubble. Did those couple of dates with Blancmange as well, but I've never actually been the headliner. So it's an opportunity for us to finally be sound checking first, and I can bring more gear and be the annoying band that takes forever to sound check instead of being the ones that come on late and moan about the others.
Judging from my experience, it's kind of a double-edged sword, the sort of going first on sound check kind of thing. In fact, frankly, I'd prefer in most gigs to just sort of line check and go on, because that seems to result in the best sound as far as I can tell. If you do a sound check and then like 2 other bands or whatever do sound check after you, everything seems all wrong by the time I'm going on stage. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just playing the wrong venues. I don't know. But
the good news, there's only 2 of us. From at least 2 of these gigs, there's only 2 bands on. There's me and Roman Angelos in Coventry, and I think the more bands you add, the more chaotic it gets, to be honest. And I think all the promoters we're playing for and all the venues, I kind of know them anyway. Yeah. So I think we're gonna be okay, which is why I was like, you know what, this is the tour where I get out the MS-10 synthesizer that I haven't played for donkey's years on stage, which is behind me there somewhere. I've moved me the wrong way anyway.
I see it there. Yeah.
Behind the Lego my son bought me for Christmas.
Yeah, it can be really difficult figuring out which way to move on Zoom. So which way's the right way. Yeah, I know. I've got a lot of affection for the MS-10, one of the first synthesizers that Jan Doyle used. Among that and the CS5 from Yamaha.
Yeah.
Back in, I'm not saying because Jan Doyle Band have only been going 10 years, honest. Yeah. And definitely didn't start in 1996. No. Yeah. So you decided. Is this like kind of a self-booked tour in effect? You've decided that now is the time to actually believe in yourself a bit more, so to speak, and actually just go for it.
That's how I'm selling it. Be honest. That's how I'm selling it. And yes, it's my debut. I've done all these other support slots. It's time for me, and my album's sold out. It's time for me to go out on the road and show it to the kids. Whatever, but in reality, Roman Angelos, the guy who's on every night with me, he's coming over from New York, and basically he wanted to play some shows.
Hey, I've been to New York. I didn't meet him.
I know you've been to New York, but it was basically like if I'm putting on the shows for him, blow it, I'll pay him myself. You know how much work these things take. It takes so much effort putting on a tour. So I was like, you know what? If I'm doing that, I'm going to do it myself, and it kind of works for all of us, I think. So, and I love gigging. I love it. It's the bread and butter for me. It's the best bit. I much prefer it to recording.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a show off on stage, I guess.
I'm not though. I try and keep things nice and sedate. I mean, a number of times I've been compared to Kraftwerk. In fact, it's been said they can be a lot more animated than me on stage. Obviously, don't like to over egg things. No. Never. It's exactly. Keep it minimal. And, that's probably best.
You just say the shyly behind a keyboard. Don't you?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
preferably
Don't
a screen in front of me as well,
yeah.
you know, so I can hide from the audience, you know, shy and retiring that I am.
I'm pretty much the same myself, to be honest.
So is there going to be any bass guitar playing in this tour?
There will be, yes. But I've got the bass guitar on, I think, 3 or 4 songs. Yeah, so it's great. We've got a mix of kind of like a couple of deep cuts, some of the big ones off the latest album, and a real mix of kind of I like playing around with lots of instruments on stage, really. That sort of thing, Yeah, there's plenty of that. I mean, there's the full band as well. There's all 3 of us, because I've done a few shows with just 2 of us lately. We played in Stoke recently with just 2 of us. We got, like you, like to keep it flexible, because it's basically my band and whoever else wants to do it. Nobody's
that's pretty much how I work as well. And I think I saw you in London as 2-piece. I'm not sure at the was it the I know it's Islington round.
Oh yeah, no, that was Arthur and Martha.
Yeah, was it? Oh, no.
That wasn't that. No, unless it was Home from Home. I can't remember.
I can't remember now. It might have been Arthur and Martha, that one, actually.
You came to Arthur and Martha because Plasmic played that one.
Yeah, it was Arthur and Martha. So maybe have I only seen Rodney Cromwell once?
Did you see us? Did you see us on Home from Home? Maybe you saw us on that. That was in the Islington as well.
I might have only seen you live twice, actually, thinking about it now. And it's one was Arthur and Martha.
I've seen you more times than that in the last year, Derek.
I know, it's terrible. Where's my commitment? And the thing is, I've enjoyed Rodney Cromwell. I mean, I think Cold Christmas is an incredible tune, which I just played, obviously. And, I really like what you do. And I keep sort of threatening I'm going to give you a slot in Sheffield or something. I never seem to actually get round to it, and I don't know, there's always other stuff that sort of needs doing, and I need to sort that out, because you obviously deserve and need that. Well, you don't necessarily need it as such, but you know it's not like, is this brand new act who needs a leg up or anything, but I as both a friend and as someone whose music I greatly enjoy, I really sort of need to sort it out and get something going. And there's kind of a bit of resurgence in electro in Doncaster starting up with the new electronic music open mic night started.
We have one of them literally, because I'm in Catford.
Yeah.
There's one, the London one is in Catford. It's literally one road down from where Martin, my synth player, lives. And it's like, we really must go.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
and check it out one night.
And you get a lot of people who are just sort of... predominantly, you get people who are instrumental musicians, tweaking and twiddling away behind equipment on stage. But I've met some pretty amazing people at them. There was Samuel. Don't know if you ever encountered them. And there's been like Cynthia's Periscope. There's been Astrophone.
Yeah, I played with Cynthia's Periscope.
I love Cynthia's Periscope. Absolutely incredible act. Really need to get him back for some gigs as well. Might put him on at my festival later this year. But I love Cynthia's Periscope. Did an interview with him some time ago as well, like this. So there's amazing stuff that you just don't expect. And even I'm generally prefer performers rather than just the synth tweakers. But I've still heard some really exciting, unexpected stuff from the people who were just synth instrumentalists. So you never know precisely what you're going to get, and it's well worth dropping by for. I mean, it's free to get in usually, and you get like might get about 20 acts with some of the nights. So it's it's just really exciting. And so with that sort of starting up again, maybe Def Synth needs to re-emerge, and even though I've lost the domain name now, maybe we can have Rodney Cromwell here or something. So anyway, going back to your tour, so what for the equipment fans, so what else are you likely to be bringing out? You've got the MS-10 coming along. Anything else that's juicy in synth wise?
Be honest with you, on stage now, most of what we do is the Microkorg, which is the most sold synthesizer in the world, to be honest. We've got two now, two, because I used to play for years and years, just play with Moogs, my ARP, which is down there, two Moog synthesizers and the MS-10, and you'd spend half the set doing this between songs. Hold on, give it paper, to get there's the sound. And actually now we use since COVID and we've come back, we just use the microcorg, and now the microcorg is now regarded as a classic and as in itself is now a vintage item.
I'm feeling a bit starting to feel a bit old now that the microcorg is now a vintage synth.
I know. Tell me about it. I bought it when it came out, and it's been rebuilt at least once. It's hardly anything left from the original one, I think, apart from the shell. All the motherboard was rebuilt, and the keys have all been changed. But the difference is now, we can just press a button, and we are ready. We rehearsed today. We did 4 hours today rehearsing, and we can get the set. So we change each song in like 10 seconds, without any worry. And I can stop it, and I can do all my banter and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. But so I know the bands I used to be in. Well, I used to be in this band in the 90s myself. Well, late 90s, early noughties, called Saloon, and we just had all the old. We had like 4 or 5 analog synths on stage, and it was painful between songs that you'd literally have to redo there, and the guitarist had to retune, and it would just take forever. And we didn't do any banter, so it'd just be deathly silent.
So it's sort of like tumbleweed between songs.
Yeah, it's total. And Rodney Cromwell it's totally different to that. I want things to be snappy, and there's a bit of chat. It's fun. It's a show.
Yeah.
The difference between Rodney Cromwell and what I used to do was be in a band that played gigs. Rodney Cromwell is a band that plays a show.
Yeah,
and I think I mean, we don't dress up quite as much as you.
No, but I mean, you do have that certain affectation with the hat all the time, which you frequently bemoan. You decided to opt for this whole dressing for winter in boiling hot music venues. Perhaps not the greatest plan, but hey, maybe it's a good weight loss technique if that's something
if only,
you need to
I
do.
wouldn't take it off ever if it was.
People like to go to these saunas and so forth for weight loss and that. So maybe it gives you your nice trim figure doing all this sort of thing.
I did no. That's because I get up at 6:30 now. I'm not trim, but I get up at 6:30 and jump around to Joe Wicks, and I've got a song pretty much about that as well in the set. The hat came from I played one show with, I think that was with The Department and Massive Ego and Johnny Normal, and I was on first, and it was really cold, and I ended up going on stage with my woolly hat on, and that's right. And I had like a Sainsbury's bag, because Massive Ego, what they were like? They were like
they're big showy band,
all that sort of stuff, big. So I just came on totally the opposite, like this kind of like complete geeky bloke that walked out of the library with my woolly hat on and my bag. And everyone loved it, and they were just like, "Oh, that you should stick with that image. It's hilarious. It's kind of the anti-Massive Ego kind of thing."
Yeah, I mean,
it's great that they were, but I mean, it's
it's like you've got some sort of deliberately sort of awkward-looking promo photos and that sort of thing. Deliberate affectation of someone who doesn't know how to do a promo photo, sort of thing. I mean, he says now worrying that no, but I know what you're doing.
But I have quite a few promo photos, which is different, and they are noticeable as opposed to some people like who don't have any.
Yeah.
Like, well, at least I've got plenty. And people, it's funny because you don't think anything of them, and then when we did the show with Blancmange, Neil Arthur was like, "Oh, I thought you were going to wear your anoraks." It's like, no, that's just in the photos.
So how was it then playing with Blancmange? And I assume that was an exciting experience to be playing with a legendary band like that.
Yeah, it was terrific. They treated us really well. They were really nice. Once you all know that you're doing those kind of pro shows, it's very different. Everything's done to the letter, really, really organised. You know exactly when you're going on stage, exactly when your sound check is, all that sort of stuff. And they were really nice. And the audience was great. If you could, you'd do shows like that every single night.
Yeah.
You don't have all the stress of bringing an audience out. I always think, you know, I love to play to like new people. It's great. It was such a good feeling. And as I say, they treated us really well. The only downside was Richard, our guitarist, because he was driving, insisted we went out afterwards every night and got really drunk.
Oh,
and
dear.
so you would turn up to the next one with a stonking hangover.
Oh dear.
But, you know, it was brilliant. It was really, really fun.
Yeah, I got to play with Republica, obviously, as you know fairly well, and you know that was kind of a dream gig. So were Blancmange kind of a band that you'd always had considerable appreciation for, or just sort of like they are one of those bands you do like to get known as playing alongside?
No, a bit of. I mean, I really liked what I knew of theirs. I hope Neil's not watched this. They were, you know, their big hits were. I'm actually, despite my lack of hair, a bit younger. So when the big hits were coming out, you know, they kind of passed me by. So they're a band I got into a bit later.
Yeah. I mean, I know about two Blancmange. So.
Yeah, well, but they're brilliant. They're really, really, you know, as I say, I mean, the thing with Blancmange, their new albums are as good as their old stuff.
Yeah, I think some of their new stuff is possibly even better than some of the old work. It's been some really interesting stuff coming out from them in recent times. I think they've sort of reinvented their sound a little bit to be even more electronic than they used to be.
Yep. So there's a lovely clean sound. It's great.
So tell us a bit more about Angelos as well.
So Roman Angelos, his real name's Richard Bennett. So he's also a fake persona, but as opposed to if mine's this kind of like bloke off the street kind of thing, he is a kind of, I don't know, I say he's an electronic lounge lizard. You know, he looks a bit like he's an extra out of a Godfather movie or something. You know, he's New York, Italian American, got a great look. The music's brilliant. You know, he's on one album that's kind of that's for Happy Robots, my label. He's on one album that's really kind of chilled electronic stuff, in almost like Air and something like that, with a sort of 1960s exotica feel to it. And then he's done another album which is like 11 minutes long of kind of like chip tunes and, you know, elevator music. So it's just wacky. What he does is kind of like, you know, wacky. And I think that's why we work well together. Not that I'm wacky, obviously, but, you know.
No, you're perfectly sensible and would never do anything bizarre or unusual ever, just like me as well.
Exactly.
I mean, it's why we see eye to eye on so many things. Never do anything remotely silly, either of us. No. And also, I think we should. I do want to talk a little bit more about what to expect on the tour in a bit. But tell us, not everyone will know of Happy Robots Records, so you know, tell us a bit more about that.
So yeah, that's my record label. I started it in like 2008 with Alice, who is now Alice Hubble, to do the Arthur and Martha record. I mean, we wrote the record and we had it in the can for like about 2 years, and we couldn't find a label to put it out that, you know, that would do it justice. Let's just say we had people that wanted to do it, and then they were like, "Oh, we just want to do it digitally." We're like, "Well, we want a record or a CD or something like that." So in the end, because I was quite connected at the time, you know, we had like Cargo, a distributor, we had a press agent and all that sort of stuff, a radio plugger. So we're like, let's just do it ourselves. So we did the record ourselves, and we started our own label. And Happy Robots was the name of a like club night I was running, or had run a few years before. And it was just kind of lazy. Let's just use the same name. So we called it Happy Robots, put the Arthur and Martha albums out. And yeah, it was all, you know, hunky-dory or whatever. But, well, we split up quite soon afterwards. Well, we didn't split up. We just kind of like went off to do our own thing, you know. I got married, and Alice went off and did another band. And so it just kind of like, oh, like, woo. But then when I recorded the Age of Anxiety album, I was just too lazy to find a record label to put it out, because basically with that album it was like, yeah, I'm gonna just stick it out now and that's it. I'm done with music. I'm not playing it anymore. I'm retiring. So I put that album out on Happy Robots, and then people liked it, and then suddenly I'm doing music again. And then my friend Morgan, who was in a band called Stereo Lab back in the day, she was like, "Oh, can I put a record out on your label?" And like, she's like one of my favorite artists and one of my favorite bands, and she's a great mate. So I was like, "Yeah, I'll do that." And then before you know it, suddenly I've got an active record label, and other people are coming to me, and it's been a very busy 8 years doing an accidental record label, basically.
Oh no, I've started a record label by mistake.
Exactly that.
So what's the? I mean, does it take up a lot of time then running the label, or is it you don't necessarily? I mean, I know you don't have a huge roster of bands on the label,
Yeah.
so is that like that allows you to keep it under control?
But Derek, it takes up so much time, and to
Yeah.
the point where, to be honest with you, I think it's fairly public knowledge to a lot of people that actually I'm taking a break from it
Yeah.
after the next couple of releases, because it's filled up so much of my time. I mean, you can just put out records and you can just put them on Bandcamp, and but some labels just literally get the stuff, stick it on Bandcamp, send a couple of tweets out, and it's done. But I've never been like that. You know, I've always worked with a distributor, and if you work with a distributor, it means you get your records in shop, great, but you have to do loads of work in the background because of it. And they're very insistent. They're very old school as well. They want loads of press, all that sort of stuff. So you have to go the extra mile. You have to get kind of press and radio play and report on it. And it, you know, it just fills up so much time. And I've got to, you know, believe it or not, it doesn't pay the bills.
What?
And it's not
music
I
not
know.
paying the bills. What's this? This is
exactly.
I
And
just
it's
can't
not
believe
cheap
it.
living
I
in-
thought you were like rock stars and that were all millionaires like yourself.
No,
you know,
exactly. It doesn't.
like
pay
you
the
live in
bills.
London, you must be a millionaire, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's not cheap living in London, and I don't have the. I'm not like a. My day job isn't like. I'm not like a. There's certain record labels that I'm not going to name, but they've got jobs in like in the city or whatever, or they're working for like oil companies and that sort of stuff, and they've got plenty of money they can throw at it as a hobby. It doesn't matter if they don't sell them or not. You know, I've got a very average office job, and 2 kids and a mortgage, and you know it's a lot of money running a label. I've got a lot, juggle a lot, so it's been fun, and we've had some really great moments with it. You know, we've had some really good radio play for some of the bands. You know, Alice Hubble got on Steve Lamac's playlist or whatever, and Sinosa got on Steve Lamac's playlist, and you know, on 6, you get people saying, "Oh, I heard your record in the Hairdressers." You know, like you can't do any better than that.
That's definitely getting a quite a considerable achievement, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I don't. It just got to the point where I don't know what more I can do with it or what more I can do with the band. So I'm going to take a bit of sabbatical, maybe write another record of my own, and see. But you know, all that matters at the moment is getting the tour out of the way.
Also, let's talk about the most recent Rodney Cromwell album then. So tell us all about that and why.
Well, actually, it's
let's-
funny you should
let's-
mention it because
you
I
just
got the
happen to
copy out
have
of the
it.
shelf.
You just happen to have it here, memory box.
I know, weird that, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's called Memory Box. It's called Memory Box. It's got a lovely cover.
It has indeed.
Yeah,
Very nice
Martin,
font
who lives
there.
down the road, designed it, and yeah,
Let people
I mean, it's
see
a
it
mix-
properly. Not hold it up properly at the camera.
Oh, sorry, that's
see-
because I'm doing it the wrong way.
wrong way. To your
That way,
to your
isn't
right.
it?
That's
There-
it.
is
Up a
that
bit.
better?
Up a bit. There you go. That's good enough.
There you go.
There you
Oh, there you go.
go. Good
It's called
enough.
Memory Box. I've actually sold out of it here. I think there's 10 left in the warehouse at Cargo Records. So if you want one, I think you have to buy it from Amazon now. I think they're the only people that've got any left, which is a brilliant place to be in. And yeah, I mean, I recorded it in 2020. And basically, my plan was always to record an album in 2020. And of course, you know, COVID happened. Suddenly, everybody's recording a bloody album. You know, but I really wanted to make it so it wasn't like a lockdown album. It, you know, it's still a kind of going out, playing it live kind of album. You know, and it's it's a mix of everything I do really. It's a bit of synth pop, it's a bit of pop, it's a bit of indie, it's a bit of rock here and there, and a bit of kind of weirdy hauntology, psychedelic stuff. You know, I'm really proud of it.
It's a good mix. I mean, it
It's a
has
mix.
Cold Christmas on there.
No, because that one was, I thought, just a little bit too dark for it.
It's brilliant.
To be honest.
Though. I mean, the
That
thing
was
is,
the
I
first
played.
track I wrote for it. That was the first. Originally, that's right. It was originally going to be called Disinformation, and it was going to be my kind of goth rock record, and that's when I wrote that for it. But then COVID happened, and the whole world was going to, you know, and I was like, I don't want to make a really depressing record now because everything going on around us is really depressing. So, you know, it's got some weirdy psyche bits, you know, but and it has got some darker bits in it, but it's not the whole thing. It's more it's you know, it's a mixed palette.
Yes.
And yeah, so Cold
We
Christmas
like that sort of thing.
was
We
one
like
end
a
of the
bit of
spectrum.
variety around here.
Yeah, exactly. So that was one end of the spectrum of a kind of dark thing, and then I got another one, which is my next single, which is called Exercise Class, which was like the other side of the spectrum. It's just ridiculous, bright, multicolored, stupid kind of song, and that didn't really fit either. So that's what's in the middle between dark and stupid. That's what my album is.
Yeah, so that's what you want people to know your album is, dark and stupid. So
Yes.
So anything else to add briefly about the upcoming tour? Sort of anything else special about it? That, I mean, I think we've largely covered the general gist of it, but you know, anything else you'd like to mention? I mean, there's all the dates you can mention. I mean, you can show us the flyer or something if you like.
Only that if you're in I'm not doing
to
it
your
again,
right,
am I?
to your left. Still can't
Only
see the
that
dates
basically I'm
anyway, but
playing
never
in
mind.
London. Yeah, I'm
Oh.
playing London, Reading, Coventry, and
Todmorden. What's
Yes.
I mean, Todmorden? No, it's not a place I'd normally associate with gigs, but I've seen a
Oh.
few people playing there lately.
Funny you should say that. That's probably the gig that people are most excited about.
I was thinking of going to that one as well, rather than London.
Everyone's
I've
saying
never
it's a
been to
really nice
Todmorden.
venue. Yeah, it's meant to be a really, really nice venue. So I'm really excited to do that one. That's the last night of the tour as well. It's a shame, obviously, we're not going to Scotland. But It's
Yeah.
like one weekend. We're doing it when Roman's here.
Yeah.
There's lots of places we'd like to go, but we, you know, the promoters we're doing it with are all people we've played with before, and they're all great.
Yeah.
You know.
And you may like to know that Margaret the Dwig in the Twitch chat really liked Cold Christmas as well, so that's some good news for you.
That's good. That's good. Well, if she likes on the spectrum between that and stupid, she might like my album as well.
I think she does. I mean, yeah. So anyway, I'll link to the various dates in June that you are indeed playing for people, and I'll get on and play a bit more of your music and a bit of Roman Angelos as well. So we've got Thursday, 8th of June in London at Servant Jazz Quarters. Never heard of that place either. Facebar in Reading I've heard of. That's Friday, June the 9th. And Saturday, June the 10th. That's the birthday of co-founder of John Doyle Band, Duncan Timoney. That's Coventry at Just Dropped In. And Sunday, June the 11th in Todmorden, which is the Golden Lion, and I'll probably go and see you there.
So Cynthia's Periscopes that night as well.
Excellent. That makes it even better for me.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yes, thank you very much for joining me. Anything anyone might like to add in the Twitch chat before we do depart, because we've only got about 5 minutes of Zoom meeting left, so I need to get something else happening, so I'll just wait and see if there's any question. Probably won't be, being as it's Saturday night and probably everyone's out or incapacitated in some way and can't actually respond because they're sort of lapsing in and out of a coma or something.
Or they're like me and they don't even know what Twitch is.
Yeah. I mean, how do you make words come on chat in Twitch? Don't know. But anyway, yes, just wait a second or two due to the delay that we get. But so you say Todmoden's definitely the place that you are definitely most excited about then.
No.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
thought
say
so.
that. I'm excited about all of it. Fully
No,
excited.
it's definitely Todmorden, which in the past has had a reputation for UFOs, but UFOs aren't real anyway, so that's a bit nonsense anyway. Right,
Yeah,
I think we can sort of safely say that there aren't any questions because no one is in fact interested in you after all. So go away. Right. Anyway, lovely to.
I'm sure they will be watching it back on the YouTube.
Yeah, they'll try and ask. If you're watching this on YouTube, it isn't live. You can't ask any questions. The phone lines are closed. What was your favourite in Eurovision?
Oh, it came second. I've forgotten it already. It was only a week ago.
The
No,
Finland
was it
one.
second?
Cha cha
Was
cha.
There's some women, I think.
Right.
I like the one that was a kind of feminist anthem, where all the
The
women
Chechnya one, maybe.
Chechnya.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. And what came second? That was a good one as
That
well.
was Finland. Cha cha cha.
Finland. Yeah, was
I
that the guy with the green
Yeah,
top?
yeah. I
Quite
didn't
like
really
that.
like that one much myself. Right. Anyway, go away. I'm gonna
All
play
right, good
one.
to see you,
I'm gonna
Derek.
play more of your video. Lovely to talk to you, and I'll hopefully see you on Sunday, June the 11th.
June 11th. Lovely stuff.
And in the
Take care, mate.
meantime, I'm going to play Opus 3 from you.
Ooh, lovely. Me in a car park.
Yes. All right.
Bye.
Bye for now. Thanks for joining me.
Wait in the cabin, stare at the cars, yachts on the water, no one talks. Think of the future, tear it to tears, like an obsession. So many years, won't let it be, won't let it be, won't let it be. Catastrophe, won't let it be, won't let it be, won't let it be. Catastrophe. Shops are empty, my heart is too. When the alarm rings, will I find you? Never been closer, now we're apart. Find the transmitter of my heart. Won't let it be, won't let it be, won't let it be. Catastrophe, won't let it be, won't let it be, won't let it be. Catastrophe.
And I'm back. So that was Rodney Cromwell with Opus 3 there. That's very good indeed, I think. Yes, I don't know why I've suddenly gone sort of all blurry, but never mind. Maybe it's sort of trying to touch up my image. How could you even touch up an image as glorious as mine? I don't know. Let's have a bit of Roman Angelos next. With... what's it called? Swimming Through the Aisles. So here we are, Roman Angelos, swimming through the aisles. Just downloaded a bit more Roman Angelos to show a bit more variety of what he does. So I thought you might like to hear something. It's only a minute long, so that's kind of interesting. Tracks that are a minute long has got to be interesting, right? This is Electric Zone. kind of get the impression that was more like a trailer for it or something. I don't know. Maybe it is meant to be that long. I don't know. Right, yeah. I'll get on with something else in just a moment. And yes, Sammy, of course, I was talking about you when mentioning glorious things. I hope you are well over there in St. Louis, Sammy. Yes. Yeah, earlier today, I went out to see the stage adaptation of Ocean at the End of the Lane, the Neil Gaiman story. So I'm going to play you the trailer for that. I thought you might like to see that. So I'll just get the video ready and you can have a look at that. Here we go then. So Ocean at the End of the Lane, West End trailer it is. It says. So take a look at this. We definitely didn't have things going in reverse
stories. Peter Pan? Alice in Wonderland?
Nothing looks like what it is on the inside. What makes you who you are? Your face or what you do? There's things what lurk out there. Can you be brave?
This? It isn't pretend, it is real.
All of it was dreamed into existence. Go away! Give me my phone!
No, you stay out, stay out! Will anything ever be like it was before?
So there you go. I didn't see it in the West End. I saw it in Sheffield at the Lyceum Theatre. And I'm not normally one for going to the theatre, it has to be said. This is... I went to see Book of Mormon, the musical, some time ago. And that was kind of okay. And so... yeah, I don't know. I didn't know whether it was necessarily going to be a kind of a repeat of the same situation. And, you know, is Book of Mormon just not going to quite work because it's a musical? Maybe I was too high up and looking down on the stage too much, and also felt that was a little bit toothless. But so what? The thoughts with Ocean at the End of the Lane. Well, let me tell you about the story as best as I can. Let me find it out. It's kind of complicated to tell you the story just sort of from memory kind of thing. It's best if I find you a synopsis. See what it says on, say, Amazon or something. Other services are available for buying books. So it's a fable that reshapes modern fantasy, moving, terrifying, and elegiac, as pure as dream, as delicate as a butterfly's wing. Yeah, whatever. It began for our narrator 40 years ago when the family lodger stole their car and committed suicide, stirring up ancient powers best left undisturbed. Dark creatures from beyond this world are on the loose, and it will take everything our narrator has just to stay alive. There is primal horror here, and menace unleashed within his family and from the forces that have gathered to destroy it. His only defense is 3 women. Are 3 women? I don't know. But anyway, only defence is 3 women on a farm at the end of the lane. The youngest of them claims that her duck pond is an ocean. The oldest can remember the Big Bang. So yeah, it's one of Gaiman's wonderful dark fables. But there's a lot more in there than just a sort of fairy tale kind of thing. There's a lot of stuff to do with accepting your now in the world, you know, and moving on from things in the past that haven't been good and that sort of thing. So, you know, it's kind of a lot of that underlying meaning is there, and there's a lot of family drama stuff for the first half, so there's a lot of family setting, though there is a moment with some really good puppetry as they meet one of the creatures from beyond. And in the end, it works out as the really, really good story that underpins it all. Absolutely sells the whole thing by the end of it, even though for the first half I wasn't entirely vibing with it, so to speak. It wasn't quite doing the business for me, but I was moved pretty much to tears by various moments in the second half after the interval, when it really gets into the fantastical stuff and really hits home with some of the connections between the characters. One awkward thing about it, though, is they have someone who is considerably an adult, probably in their 20s, who has to play the role of a child throughout most of the production, which can be a little awkward. It just tends, when you get, and he's a really committed, sensible performance. He's doing his best he can with it, but there is always that little bit of an issue with, does this really work? And that disconnect between he's trying to be 11 or 12 or something and is like 25, something like that. But yes, we're supposed to suspend our disbelief, that's the point of things. But yeah, the elements of the story still shine through, and some of the staging is truly spectacular at times, and there's a wonderful way in which they change scenery and that sort of thing. The black dressed people, yes indeed, they're in the basic facts, and that is it's very much a play pretend kind of film, because it says like what is memory other than imagination, in effect. And we wouldn't have so much in life, as I keep saying with play pretend when I do the intro to that, we wouldn't have so much of what we do have if it wasn't for indulging in imagination. And it's said in the story and the play, what is memory but imagination in the end? So it all kind of amounts to the same thing, and that kind of felt really interesting, and it really hits home in the way things sort of work out in the film. There's a lot to do with loss and family life and relationships in there, and the longing for a new human connection and that sort of thing. And I think that is one of the greatest strengths of the story. But whether it fully works for me as a stage play, I don't know how much I'm really keen on the stage. I couldn't help thinking throughout a lot of it that I'd really much rather it be a TV show or a movie. I am big cinema fan, and I couldn't help thinking that despite the wonderful efforts of everyone involved and the incredible work that's gone into making this happen, I probably prefer it as a moving image rather than a stage play. I might try another stage play at some point, but some of the performances are obviously very stages. That's the nature of stage, but there's always that certain stilted feel to stage, which I don't know if I'm entirely keen on. But I probably need to try a few more. What was it worth the £45 I paid? Well, technically I'd say yeah, but maybe not entirely for me. If you like stage productions and you fancy a bit of Neil Gaiman style story, it's worth the money to go and see this realised on stage. As I say, probably better for me if it was a TV production. And as for Margaret the Dwig's question, can children not act legally? I would argue that it's probably due to the fact that it's on tour, and you don't really want to separate children from being involved in their studies and that sort of thing. I don't know if there is any law saying they can't act or anything like that, but it was certainly spectacular at times, and in the second half I definitely found it very moving. But for me, I know some of it was to do with the methods of staging. Some of it in that second half, there was a lot more that was fantastical, and it really the magical imagery in that enhanced the mood and message of what was happening. So some really great efforts, and as I say, the sort of people moving furniture around dressed in black and that sort of thing, they really were cleverly done in that they became kind of part of the show, because they